Stupid twat. Dog shit.
Yep, that's me.
I'm fucking ass.
God damn it.
Bro, and then this nigga just standing down there, bro.
He mad about that.
Yeah, he's cheating.
What is up, YouTube? So today I decided to finally make my very first aim guide. If you guys saw the movement guide that I made a year ago, I believe, maybe 2 years ago, that video did really well, and you guys said I did a great job with it, explaining it. So you know, this video is going to be very informational. If you don't know me, I'm just someone who just play the game, and I try to get good at pretty much every game that I play. I'm gonna try to share as much as my knowledge as I can. I should be able to help anyone who's, you know, new to gaming or average become better, and there should be a few things in here that might even help some above average players. I've been accused of cheating so many times I lost count. Like, I don't think I look like a cheater when I play, but I've had people unfriend me because they thought I was sus. I'm pretty confident that I can help other people improve. That's why I'm making this video. In this video, we're going to be shooting a lot of bots without aim assist, and there's plenty of videos of people telling you to shoot bots without aim assist to get better. But if you're not doing it correctly, it's not actually going to help. I'm going to show you, like, and there's so many different drills and things you got to do to work on every and each aspect of your aim, from centering, recoil control, hip fire. Like, there's so many different ways you got to go about doing it. And in this video, I'm going to explain how you should do it, how you should move your thumbsticks, what you should be looking at on your screen. Like, I'm gonna try to explain everything to the best of my ability so that you can aim and pretty much look like you're cheating, at least to other players. So before we start practicing our aim or our movement, we need to make sure we have the right settings. So I'm just gonna go through my settings, but we're gonna go over to controller, and I am running low sense, but I'm gonna raise the sense for the sake of this video, just to show you guys, like, if you're doing what I'm saying, then the sensitivity don't matter. This isn't just the low sense thing that I'm showing you. Like, you can run any sense and your aim should still look pretty much the same. So first we're gonna go over button layout. So I'm running a custom button layout. So I play claw. So I press my Y button and my A button with my pointer finger, and I use my middle finger on my triggers. In the past, I used to hold the controller normally, and I played bumper jumper tactical. This allowed me to jump and slide. All this is personal preference, which one you run. You just want to be able to shoot and not have to take your thumb off your sticks while you're shooting, because you want to be able to use movement and shoot, if that makes sense. So I recommend the Game Seer G7 Pro controller is what I use. That's this controller I'm holding right now. As you can see, I got paddles on the back, I got extra buttons up top too. This controller was only $80. It's more responsive than a regular Xbox. I recommend this if you're on like Xbox or PC. I'm not sure if you can use it on PlayStation, but it's more responsive than the Xbox controller. I have brought 2 Elite controllers, and they both broke within 2 weeks of me using them. The Elite controller is literally a scam. The controller is outdated, and they come out of the box defective. I don't recommend buying an Elite controller. I don't know why anyone would ever recommend it. The version I'm using, of course, is $80, but they have a $40 version of the controller. It's Game Seer G7 HESE. There's literally no reason not to buy the $40 version, because it's literally better than it. It's more responsive, it has more buttons, and you won't get stick drift. Like, it's literally no reason to ever run a regular Xbox controller. So this is personal preference. Same thing with the sensitivity. This is personal preference, but I'm gonna try to help you find something you feel most comfortable using. Like, I'm gonna teach you guys how I decide what sense to run. You can turn all of these off. You don't really need these. All right, so next up we got controller vibration. You want to turn this off. You don't want your thumbs to be shaking. You want to keep them steady. Then finally, under controller, the controller section, we gotta change our dead zone inputs. So you want these. I usually run this on a 1. I'm not sure why that's a 2, but you want to go to test dead zones, and then you can see, like, it say my left stick is a little off. It say it's at a 4. That's weird because in game it doesn't actually move on its own, but in order for me to correct it, because it say my vertical is at a 4, you see how it isn't quite in the center like on the right, my right stick is. So for left stick min, you will want to raise it to a 4 because the highest number on it was a 4. I would want to raise it to a 4. What this does is, your minimum is how much you need to move your stick from the center for it to register movement. Because my stick isn't centered, when I go in game, my character would be moving on their own. My left stick max I got at 70. All this does is it decreases the max I need to move the max amount that I need to move my thumbstick in order for it to register max movement. So in case I didn't do a good job of explaining it, I'll show you guys. Alright, so the hand cam should be up. So you see, once you hit the red, you're pretty much at 100. See how it says 100? But my thumbstick isn't fully moved. See, if I move it further, that's the furthest I can move it. But when I move it right here, it hits 100. But that's the furthest I can move it. So that's all your max does. So I keep my max at 70, so I do not have to move it as much. It helps out with my speed. I can react a lot faster. And I got my right stick at 100 just so I have more room to be accurate. So your left trigger and right trigger, you want both these on 0. There's no reason not to have them on 0. It just makes it so that you don't need to pull your trigger down all the way to shoot or aim. Just as soon as you touch it, it should register that you pressed it down all the way. Alright, so next we got aiming settings. So we got sensitivity multipliers. So I pretty much got all mine on 1.0. So I'm going to try to explain each. So these 4 I just got on default because they're mainly for, like, if you're using a vehicle or if you're using a kill streak. So if you're driving a vehicle and let's say you can't really see too much because your screen moving too fast, of course you want to lower it, and you want to lower it below 1.0. You want to raise it above 1.0 if you feel like your screen isn't moving fast enough while you're in the vehicle. Tablet sensitivity is like when you're using a kill streak, how fast your screen moves. So if it's moving too fast, turn it down. If it's moving too slow, you want to raise it. ADS sensitivity multiplier and ADS sense multiplier focus. So these are like when you're aimed down sight. Again, I'm gonna help you find something you feel comfortable with, but I just run 1.0 with the sensitivity I use now, and I really don't want my aim any slower than it already is. Then we got aiming advanced settings. So you want your ADS sensitivity transition timing on instant. Reason being, because we're playing a multiplayer game, you want to do everything as fast as possible. The second you pull down your trigger, you want your aim to be slowed down just so it's easier for you to track. After zoom gives you a certain amount of time to flick to target, and then it'll slow down, so it can make your aim inconsistent, right? If you take too long to move your aim to your target. What it does is it waits till your character to fully zoomed in before the slowdown kick in. And gradual will make it progressively slow down so they'll try to smooth it out, which again can make your aim inconsistent. Third person ADS correction type, you can just leave that on assist. You don't really play third person too much. Aim response curve type, I recommend dynamic, but if your aim is really bad, if you're new to using controller, then I actually recommend running standard, because it's a lot easier to aim. Dynamic is just if you're trying to get, it's for more experienced players, as it say. Like, it even says standard for ideal for new players, and dynamic is for experienced players. Linear, I don't really recommend using linear, just because it makes your aim feels less stickier. That's the only reason. But yeah, aim response curve slope, you want that on 1.0 if you're running dynamic, and same thing if you're running standard. 1.0 should be just fine for both of those. Custom sensitivity per zoom is the same thing as the ADS sense multiplier. That's personal preference, and you'll set that up later on. So finally, we got target aim assist, and you want this on. There's no reason not to use it, otherwise you'll be disadvantaging yourself for pretty much no reason. Next, we got our movement settings. So you want tactical sprint assist on for sprint assist. You want your sprint assist delay on 0, and you want sideways and backwards on. Manual assist off. You want cross assist off. You want corner slice off. Wall jump assist is off. Combat roll off. Slide and dive behavior, you want a hybrid. If you don't feel like you'll be using a dolphin dive, which you really don't need in a lot of situations, you can run slide only. If this is the movement guide you're watching, I recommend running hybrid, because you want to be able to dive. There are some things you can't do without diving, but I would either recommend hybrid or slide only. I don't recommend like tap the slide or tap the dive, because there's a delay and you don't want to be slowed down at all. Automatic airborne mantle, I got mine on. Not sure why, I thought I ran with it off, but I have it on. Sprint restore, you want on. Slide maintain sprint on. Parachute automatic behavior, you want that off. You want to pull your parachute on your own. You want to get as close to the ground as possible. I know I break my legs sometimes too, but you just got to get used to it. You got to get that timing down. Wingsuit activation, I got on manual. I don't really play blackout, so I'm not sure if this is the best setting. Wall jump activation, I got mine on press. You really don't want to be holding down Y. I guess it slows you down. Well, for me it's Y. Slide combat roll behavior, again I got tap to slide. Combat roll, we got on third person, and movement advanced settings. So sprint tactical behavior, I got on toggle. Auto move forward, of course you want that off. Auto door peek, you want off. Tactical sprint activation, you want single tap sprint, just so you press your stick down once and you sprint, and it also toggles. Plunging underwater, you actually went on free. I'm not sure why I had it on trigger. Sprinting door bash, you want that on. Vehicle behaviors, now these are default, so default should be good. I think default should feel like most other driving games. Have combat behaviors. So for ADS, for aim down sight behavior, you want to hold. For weapon mount activation, I have ADS in melee. I think I actually had double tap ADS. I think double tap ADS is my Warzone setting. For dedicated melee, I have press the melee, because you don't want to hold it. I think usually it was hold, so you want press the melee. Body shield and finisher behavior, you want it on prioritize body shield. So if you double tap, so when you double tap, you can execute someone, and you can kind of execute people while you're not even behind them, like it's broken. For armor plate behavior, you want to apply all. For C4 detonation, you want all at once. Equipment behavior, you want to hold. Well, actually, I think 1 by 1 probably would be better. I'm sorry. For equipment behavior, you want to hold. For manual fire, you want to press. Combat advanced behavior, these are my settings. They should all be default. So change D-pad behavior to ping. Change zoom activation, sprint, focus. Weapon mount activation, short delay. Prioritize. For interact reload behavior, you want this on prioritize interact. You just want to get used to holding X to reload. I guess for multiplayer, you can have tap to reload. For Warzone, you want prioritize interact. For mantle cancels reload, you want this on. Sprint cancels reload, you want that off. Akimbo behavior, you want on independent. ADS stick swap, you want off. Depleted ammo. Weapon switch, you want on. Weapon mount movement on. Weapon mount return off. Overlay events, I think these are all on default. And that's it for controller settings. Now we got graphics settings. If you don't have a monitor, I recommend getting a monitor or TV that allows you to play 120 Hz refresh rate. This makes it a lot easier to play. But so next we got graphics. So I recommend you get a monitor or a TV that allows you to play the game at 120 Hz refresh rate. You should be able to have decent aim if you do what I say in the video. Follow my tips. You should still have decent aim even without it. Gaming brightness, I think this is another personal preference setting. You just want it as high so that you can actually see people who are sitting in corners. So for world motion blur, you want that off. Weapon motion blur, you want that off. Depth of field off. Like, for some reason, people actually run these on. I guess they like the way the game look, but you're kind of like disadvantaging yourself. You're making it blurry, so it could be hard to see. You could miss out on certain details. You want your game to be as clear as possible, to have decent aim. Like, you don't want anything blurry or distracting you. Fidelity, CAS, strength, got this on 100. On demand texture streaming on minimal. Field of view, I'm running 110. So the reason I'm running 110 is because character hitboxes are larger, and this will even help you hit like people who are trying to be movement demons and just moving all across the screen. This will make it a lot easier to hit them when they're in front of you. Now up close, people do move fast across the screen, so you could get your camera broken a lot more easier than if you were to run 120. So you do got to keep that in mind. But as far as like tracking players, it's a lot easier with 110. ADS field of view I got on affected, and weapon field of view I got on narrow. Now it says the weapon looks bigger on narrow than it does on wide. You can try both out, but I feel like my aim became slightly better when I switched to narrow after running wide for so long. Third person field of view you can run on 90. Vehicle field of view you can run on default. First person and third person, you want both these on 50. Third person ADS you want on third. Transition timing you want on third person ADS. So inverted flashbang, I would only turn this on if your screen becomes too bright, because maybe you got monitor settings that make it bright. Otherwise you could just leave it off. For audio settings, so for me, I hear best with headphones bass boost. I know some people run Sucker Punch. In the past, Sucker Punch was actually the best, but with each game, the audio actually gets worse, and it became impossible for me to hear at all. Like, I miss out on so many audio cues with Sucker Punch. Bass boost, I can't hear certain things. Like, I used to be able to hear people guns click, people reload. I can't even hear that anymore with bass boost, but I can at least still hear footsteps. If I run Sucker Punch, I won't even be able to hear footsteps or people hitting zip lines, or I don't know. Like, it's just the game sound engine just gets worse every time they make a new Warzone. I'm not sure what they're doing or not doing, but it's just, I would run bass boost. I wouldn't recommend running Sucker Punch unless you can actually hear everything. If you're constantly dying, just try out headphone bass boost and see if you like it a lot better. Master game volume really doesn't matter. You do want music down to 0 and cinematic music 0. There's no reason to have gameplay music anyway. I know some people, like, I know there's some people that play with music on, but there's literally no reason. Asymmetrical hearing compensation, these are the settings I run, but I haven't tested them in a while, so I'm not sure if they are the best, but you can just copy them if you want to try them out. So reduced tinnitus sound, I got that on. Hit marker preset on default. Did I go over it? All right, so advanced headphone mode, I don't really think you need this setting to hear. I don't really think it helps me hear better. In fact, it makes it a lot more confusing to tell where enemies are. Voice chat, this is all like personal preference. Then we got interface. So I recommend turning these on just so you can tell whether or not you're lagging. Although you might be lagging and it doesn't update. But you want to go to color customization. Next, you want to go to color customization under readability. You want to make sure you're on color filter 2 with color filter target both. You want your world color intensity and interface at both 100. Then you want to go over to your gameplay HUD. Gameplay HUD, I keep all these default. I keep all these on default for the most part. You can make the kill feed a little bit longer. So you want your radar off, you want your mini map rotation on, you want your compass on, because you can get some pings while playing Warzone on your compass that you won't get on your mini map. Next, we got crosshair lines. I just turned them off. I don't really see a reason to have them. I don't see the benefit, so I just got them off. The center dot is on. You need it for centering, and I just got it on larger just so it's easier to see. I also changed the color from white because when it is white, it's sometimes tough to tell whether or not I'm actually looking at the enemy. The dot is on the enemy because there are a lot of white character skins. So I recommend just changing the color to anything else besides white. You also got hit marker visuals. You want that on just so you know if you're doing damage. But there are also other ways to tell if you're landing your shots. Like, you'll see blood splatter on characters. Damage based hit markers. Oh, so the main reason you want the hit markers so you could tell how much health the enemy has, because you can tell whether or not you cracked them or not. But again, you could tell by looking at them. Like, you'll see their armor crack, or it'll be a visual effect. But you can also run hit markers. It's just a lot more easier. And then I think that's it for gameplay HUD. And finally, you got account and network settings. So the final setting I would take off is dismemberment and gore effects. I think at one point this actually did cause you to lag, but I'm not sure if they fixed the setting. But regardless, there's no reason to even have this in the game anyway. Like, it doesn't make you play any better, so who cares if it shows me shooting someone's head off? Like, it literally has there's no benefit to it. So And that's it for settings. All right, YouTube. So before we get into finding our sense or, you know, improving anything about our aim, let's just go over the basics just so we're all on the same page. There's two types of aim. You got your ADS aim and you got your Hipfire aim, right? So most of the time you want to be aiming down sight because it makes your aim move a lot slower and it zooms your screen in. So it's a lot easier to aim when you aim down sight. But there are going to be situations where hip firing will be better. So for example, if the target is really close to you, if they're close enough that they can be in that really close range, so let's say this door like about this far, this is like hip fire distance, or if they're coming towards me and they're going to enter hip fire distance, I want to un-ADS and hip fire to catch them. You want to hip fire when you're about to shoot your first few bullets. So let's say this is a person I want to shoot, I want to hip fire and then aim in. You want to hip fire and then you want to aim in, because your bullets will leave your gun faster than if you were to shoot, especially with heavier guns. So if you got like a LMG or something like that, which is with a lower sprint to fire, it's a lot better to hip fire and then aim down sight. Tell you, a lot of people don't think it makes that much of a difference, but it really does. It's a lot faster. Also, you want to hip fire whenever you're switching targets. So let's say I'm shooting this guy, I want to hip fire, move my aim, and then re-aim. And then you don't gotta move fast. Like right now, this is gonna be a little tricky because there's a lot of dummies that's interfering with the aim assist. Like whenever I try to switch to this middle one, it's gonna try to drag to one of those. See it? You see what I'm talking about? So I can't really like, I can't show you too much in the shooting range. You guys will see when we get in game. Actually, I can turn aim assist off. See, I get it close and then you do micro adjustments. So you want to move it close. I overshot a little bit. You want to get as close as possible. And then you want to aim and then move it the rest of the way. So you want to aim and move it the rest of the way at the same time. So if I'm like this, I want to do it like that at the same time. And then also you want to undershoot. Try not to overshoot. If you're noticing you're overshooting a lot, you got to move your stick less. Remember, you want to stop too short of the target. You don't want to go past it. You want to stop too short, and then while you're aimed in, because it's going to be slower, you want to move the rest of the way. And so what other situation? Oh, and so the final situation when you want to hip fire is when you're using movement. You can't really like slide. Like you see, I just crouched down. So you're also going to be hip firing when you're using movement. So like if I were to jump, it would be a lot better if I hip fire too. So those are the main situations you want to hip fire. All right, so a question a lot of people get when it comes to aiming is what should they focus on or look at? You should mainly be focused on your enemy. You should be hyper focused on them. That way their movements will seem a lot slower. I try to keep my enemy in the center of my screen. So if I'm shooting him, I know if he moves left, I can just strafe left or just move my aim left. And it's going to stay on them. I don't need to look at my gun. As long as they're in the center of my screen, I know my gun is already on them. So I don't need to check my gun to verify. And let's say I want to switch targets to him. You can move your eyesight, then move till they're in the center of the screen. Like I move my eyes and then I move the gun. I usually move both at the same time though. So I have just two more basic things that we need to all do and understand about aiming. So A lot of people think aiming is just moving your aim towards the enemy, but you also, part of it is predicting like where the enemy is going to come from and what they're going to do, and we call that part centering, right? So before we even get into centering, I just want to mention, let's say I think someone is going to come through the door. I hear them coming. So while I'm in this room, depending on where I'm standing can affect my aim. It can make it either easier for me to aim, or it can make it harder for me to aim. And even something as simple as if I'm standing right here to right here could affect your aim. Now, I'm not saying you should think that much about it, but you aim, some people aim better moving that stick to the right, and some will aim better moving it to the left. So that's what I'm talking about, as far as like depending on what side of the door you're standing on, it may be easier. But also, like, let's say if I'm right here, it could be a lot more difficult to aim than if I'm standing right here, because of how close I would be to the target. Like, they could, if they come sliding through the door and I'm right here, it's going to be difficult for me to track them, right? But if I'm standing back here, it's going to be a lot easier because they're going to move slower on my screen and I can see them. I can see them as they're coming through, versus right here, can't really see nothing, right? So you also got to think about that while you're playing and trying to aim. Before you get into gunfights, you got to think about if you were to get into a gunfight where you're standing, how difficult would it be to track or win the gunfight? All right, so the final thing you guys should know is how to abuse aim assist. So if you don't know, the aim assist is stickiest when you're moving both your thumbsticks. So I'll show you guys like what I'm talking about. So you want to roll your stick in a circle like this. And you also want to move your right thumbstick. You want to move your left stick in a circle, because you don't want it to cross past the center point. You see it? Because like you see how when you're no longer moving it, it goes to the center. You don't want it to touch the center while you're shooting. So you want to like roll it down the bottom. That way the game will think you're always moving, versus like right here, it might think you stopped. It might stop for a second, right? So you want to move both your thumbsticks. So while you're strafing to the left, you want to move your aim to the right. While you're strafing to the right, you want to move your aim to the left. If you do this, your aim will be the stickiest it can be. All right, YouTube, so I'm gonna go over my private match settings for each of the drills that we're gonna be doing. I want you to try to get 50 kills for each. So when I say we're gonna do Hipfire, try to get 50 Hipfire kills, then try to get 50 ADS kills, then try to get 50 Recoil Control kills. Like, try to get 50 kills of each, and then at least 50. The map you want to play, or the mode you want to play on, is team deathmatch, just so the bots aren't shooting each other. You want to play on a small map like Nuketown for the main drills, and then whenever you're working on your long range, I like to use Scar, but you can use any range, any map with that you can get into long range gunfights. So as far as rules go, you want the time limit on 45, you want score limit on 1000. You want to set health to 300, just so you need to land more shots. You want regen on fast. You want field upgrade on 1.25, and you want score streaks off, just in case you go AFK. You don't want the bots to call in like attack chopper on you, right? So also, what I forgot to mention about the settings is you want 4 bots on casual difficulty. I tried playing against recruit bots. Their aim is more accurate than casual last time I checked. That's it for the settings. Like I said, just make sure you get 50 kills before switching on to something else. Alright, YouTube, so before we get into any of the drills, I need to help you guys find a sensitivity you feel comfortable using. So you want to make sure you turn your aim assist off for this section. I raised my sense just to show, I'm gonna raise it a little more. I raised my sense just to show you guys like how it'll look if it's too high, and as you get it closer, how it'll change. So now trying high sense. So I thought he died. See, when I move it too much. I can still be accurate. And when I tell you all the things I'm gonna show you, you can still be accurate even if your sense high, but you can see when I do have to move it, I move it way off. So see right there. Like if I practice more in this sense, I could definitely get accurate with it. But I'm gonna lower it. Let's try something I will play better with. You can try 0.5 or 1. Let's try 6. That's what a lot of people are in. And try 6. Like I was telling you, you want to focus on a target. Like I'm hyper focused on the bots. A lot of times the crosshair isn't even on your screen sometimes. Like right now, it's not on the screen. But when it comes back, you can see my crosshair is already on target because I'm just keeping the target in the center of my screen. Like when I reload, you see your center dot disappear. I called it a crosshair, but your center dot. You can see I'm not like overshooting by a whole lot anymore. But my aim isn't perfect either. So I can just lower it a little more. Let's try 1.4. You see, I look more accurate. And while you're doing this, you mainly want to use your right stick a lot, just so because you want to be accurate with your right stick. You're trying to find a good setting for your right stick. Want to find a good setting for your right stick. See, now I'm kind of like undershooting, although it's not a bad thing. Again, I'm mainly using my right stick. I'm used to using my left stick too, and not just my right. Well, so I think we're pretty much done with this. I'll end it. Alright, YouTube, now that we got our sense that we feel comfortable using, we're going to go into the shooting range. And make sure your aim assist is on. And we got this as well. And so all we're going to do is try to flick between targets. If we're constantly overshooting, then you can change your ADS sense multiplier. Right now I got mine on 0.8, and you can see I'm not overshooting at all. Well, I just did after I said it, but as you can see, like, I'm not overshooting at all. So you can raise it a little bit. I would start at 0.8, or you could start at 1.0 and start dropping it as you overshoot. But you want to find something that you're not really undershooting or overshooting with. Right here, I think this is pretty much good as well. If you want to really challenge yourself, you can turn aim assist off and find a sensitivity that you can aim without aim assist. That would actually be ideal. That would actually be ideal. Actually, yeah, because this is a bit too easy. Let's actually turn it off. Nope. Well, when I'm not focusing, of course I'll overshoot, but when I'm actually trying to stop on target, I usually get it 90% of the time. I don't know if I'm the best example. Let me try with 1.0, see if, oh my gosh, bro. Well, now I look like I don't know what I'm talking about. But that is how you would find it. You would just find something you feel comfortable with. I don't know why it's so easy. I guess because when you aim down sight, it is slower, but you just want to find something that you feel like while you're aim down sight, it's still pretty easy to control. Okay, YouTube, so next we're going to load back into the game with the same settings, and we're going to work on our Hipfire aim and our ADS sense aim. You want to try to get 50 kills with each, and I'm gonna walk through the drills we're going to do. We're also going to do a follow the bot drill. Alright, YouTube, so now we're going to work on our centering. Centering is the most important thing when it comes to aiming. Real quick, if you don't know what centering is, it's the dot in the center of your screen, your center dot. And you pretty much want it to always be where you expect enemies to be at. And so while I'm centering, while I'm moving around the map, in order for me to have, you know, good centering, I pretty much always have my eyes where my center dot is. Or for the most part, like I try to keep my dot in the center of my screen, and I try to keep my eyes in the center of the screen. Sometimes my dot might be a little low. But for the most part, I try to keep it at either chest level or head level. And I know a lot of people say you want to keep it shoulder level or chest level, but when I'm in a sweatier lobby, you pretty much have to keep it at head level, or at least that's what I be seeing when I'm spectating teammates and even watching kill cams. The enemies be getting a lot of headshots. I'll just move around the map just to show you like how I normally move around the map. So as I'm moving, I'm turning my dot like this as I'm hitting corners. Mainly want to turn your dot, and I try to always keep it moving, and you can even add like a little sway. I know some people, or you want it to look smooth, not necessarily a sway, but you wanna always move it slowly, slightly. Like I'm trying to move it slightly, and then when you want to like check a doorway, you can move it a lot more. And it helps me stay ready for a gunfight. So now we're going to go over how to center. I just showed you how I like to move around the map. So let's say there's let's just start with a full team. Let's say there's a full team, and I saw one guy up here. I know there's a guy right here, and then there might be a guy in the garage, right? And I'm trying to center, right? I'm on this side. I want to keep the entire team in front of me. So as I'm moving right here, my aim is kind of like this. I know they're in the building, so I'm kind of centering like this. Then you can check up here, you can check down here, but you mainly want to keep them in front of you. And then even as I'm turning this, I'm kind of like this. And then you can kind of like go this way, turn it this way. And again, kind of want to check these doors. Say you think they're in here. Let's say someone was in this garage, same thing. I would peek like this. They're in that corner, because you want this dot to turn as you're turning the corner. So if someone's in the corner, your aim is already on them. For them, it'll look like you're cheating and you knew exactly where they were. In reality, you just happen to look right there. So let's say there's someone like right here and I got a UAV up and I know it's a person standing right here, right? If I know they're right here, then I'm gonna peek them like this. Like I'm pretty much gonna be looking at them through the wall. Let's say they were right there and I think they're moving. I don't think they're camping. In that case, I would peek the wall like this. Like I would take my time turning, right? But if I knew they were right there, I'll probably like stare at them through the wall. So there's like a difference. Like, yeah, centering is pretty much you predicting where you think the enemy's gonna be at. And you don't have to center the same way every single time you turn a corner. So what else? So yeah, as you turn a corner, you want to move it slightly. Like you can go slow, you don't gotta go fast. You want to turn it so that your aim will be right there in case there's a person right there. So let's say I want to center for information, like I don't know where the enemies could be at. They could be anywhere. Then I would go to a part of the map where I can see the most of the map. And I'm going to try to center for information. I'm going to try to keep my dot in the center and be positioned to where I can see the most. Like right here, I can see pretty much everything that's going on. Like I could probably move it over a little bit more, or yeah, it's about good enough. But that's pretty much how you would want to center for information. Let's say there's an enemy in this building and I don't know if they're going to peek from right here or up top. Let's say this whole area was blocked off and all of this was blocked off. So the only two ways they could come from is right here, down low, or up top. You want to keep your dot to where they could be at. So I would actually have my dot up top, because if they were to peek up there, just the tip of that head would be out versus down bottom their whole body. So because it would be a lot harder for me to hit my shots if I was fighting someone up top, I would already be centered up there. So to them, or to anyone watching me play, it might seem like I have good aim, when in reality I just have my aim, like I'm eliminating all the difficulty that comes with aiming by having good centering. Like all the difficult situations, you want to think about when you're centering, like how to make them easier. I think someone's in this building and I want to push in a building, right? So this is how I would do it. So I would center right here, check that way, check this corner, and then you can check in here. And then as I'm coming down, I want to slide and check this, check that. Let's say I want to run. Like you want to always check every corner. Like if I want to go to the garage and you want to run real quick, even if you don't think there's someone in the corner, you still want to check it. Especially if you're in sweatier lobbies. Like if you're not in a sweaty lobby, you're just in a normal pub match, you could probably just run through, peek as you're running, and keep moving. Because even if they shoot you, you can still hit this door, right? But then again, if it's another guy right here, and then this guy gets you low, it's going to be a lot easier for that guy to kill you. So you gotta keep that in mind. So if you're in like a sweatier lobby, you want to take your time and you actually want to clear corners. But you could just come through here, check, and then keep it moving. Yeah, you pretty much want to check everything. And also, you'll see a lot of good players, or if you watch a guide on centering, they always say you want to keep your center dot at chest level or head level. So I try to like imagine like how tall the person would be if they were to come through the door, and I try to keep my aim at head level. Actually, I've been in some pretty sweaty lobbies, and whenever I'm spectating my teammates, their center is actually at head level. It's not at shoulder level. It's not at chest level like the YouTubers tell you. It's at head level. That's how good players usually aim. Also, the enemies, they be headshotting me a lot because their center is at head level. They're used to going for headshots. I'm not saying you shouldn't aim for chest or shoulder. I do it quite often if I'm not really, especially if I'm not really in a sweaty lobby, because you can get away with doing it. But in some situations, it's better to actually aim at head level. I just wanted to mention that. All right, now that we got a center and then we got a sensitivity we feel okay using, we're gonna do this follow the bot exercise, and this is a pretty tough exercise or a drill. So pretty much want to keep your center dot on the friendly bot and just follow him around the map. And you kind of want to always keep your thumbstick moving, even if it's just a slight movement, like right here. It's not moving that much, but I kind of want to keep my right thumbstick moving. Try not to rely too much on your left stick. Mainly want to use your right thumbstick. And you want to try to keep your hand as relaxed as you possibly can. Now you don't want to have your grip to be so loose that it hurts your thumb, and you don't want it to be tight either. But you want it to be as loose as you can while still playing comfortably. And just follow him around a little bit. Like I said, I'm like hyper focused on a bot. If you're having troubles staying on them, you're probably not all that focused on them. You gotta like really be focused on them. If it helps, you can use your peripheral vision to see like what's around them. Like you'll start to understand like which direction a bot is going to move in if you start using peripheral vision to look at the environment. Like right here, I know he's going to turn around, he's going to go a little bit left, he's going to go right, he's going to go left, he's going to go right in a little bit. You can like say in your head what they're about to do. Like if they're about to go through a doorway, you can call it out just so you're paying attention. Now we're going to practice our Hipfire aim. So make sure your aim assist is turned off. So when you're strafing, because we're going to be strafing a lot, and you want to do this when you're ADS, so I'm going to repeat it when we switch over to the ADS part. But as you're strafing left, you want to move your aim right. As you strafe to the right, you want to move your aim left. So like this. So it won't look like your aim is stuck on whatever you're trying to aim at. You can get in the habit of doing it, and then you should be able to do it for like doorways and stuff like that. Right. And while you're aiming Hipfire, because our Hipfire aim is going to be a lot faster than our ADS, you want to mainly rely on your left stick when it comes to aiming with your Hipfire, just to avoid overshooting. So I'm gonna switch teams and show you guys what I'm talking about. So when you first start doing this, you want to just mainly strafe, practice your strafe, and then afterwards we can do slide. But just pay attention to how little I move my right stick, how much I move my right compared to my left. Okay. Again, you should be doing this with no aim assist. I can't remember if I said it, but All right, YouTube, now that we got done our hip fire, we want to try get some ADS kills. So if they get too close, I will hip fire like I was telling you. And also when you're switching targets, you want to hip fire and then re-aim. So I'm going to be doing that. You want to make sure you do everything the correct way while you're practicing. So when you get in game, and just like with the hip fire, I'm mainly relying on my left stick to aim. If I need to move my right stick, I will, but you want to rely on your left stick as much as you can. All right, right there. That was a little bit crazy right there. If you're missing your shots, you just want to stop shooting and just, you know, reset the... You don't have to worry about being accurate every single time, especially when you get in game. You gotta also be able to quickly reset your aim. Don't just keep shooting if you're missing your shots. I need some ammo. And like once you start getting used to it, just try to start aiming for upper body to hit. Try to go for headshots. See, I didn't know which one to shoot at right there. Yeah, try to go. Alright, YouTube. So for recoil control, I pretty much just, when I have a gun, I just pull it down, straight down. And I usually, like if it's swayed too much to the left or right, I try to account for that. But I'll just pull this gun just to see how much recoil on it. Just pull the trigger. So you see there's quite a bit recoil. So I just shoot. And I pull it down. And it's not the best, but yeah, that was a little bit better. It still sways left and right, but it's pretty much all the same height. So now I'll shoot the dummy. I'm just pulling straight down on my stick. And I'll show you guys like how I practice against bots. All right, now we're gonna work on recoil. So for recoil practice, I usually just will kill a bot and then take their peacekeeper. And what you want to do is try to get kills with the peacekeeper. And you can also do this on a longer range map. But try to get kills with the peacekeeper since it does have a decent amount of recoil. Like, let me shoot it. See, it has a decent amount of recoil. And then you want to shoot it, and then you want to pull down on your analog as you're shooting it. And even with whenever you use your SMG, your secondary, it should look like you should pull down on that as well. So I was gonna say. Ooh. And this will help you warm up your recoil control if you do this. Get a few kills with the high recoil weapon with no aim assist, especially. All right, so for long range gunfights, I usually do it on maps like this, and I like to stand in the middle of the map, or I might pick like a line of sight like this to where I can practice. But I mainly like to stand right here. And then like this, you can kind of like turn around if they start shooting you in the back. You can get shot from multiple directions. So you can work on like 360 in and long range recoil, long range aim. with no aim assist. Make sure you have your aim assist turned off. It is a lot trickier long range. Alright YouTube, now that we're done with all that no aim assist drills, we have two more. We have one, we need to this will mainly help a lot of multiplayer players, but you want to set max health back to 100 and you want to load in. Make sure your aim assist is on. So check your aim assist, make sure it's on, and you want to add 2 more bots so that there are 6 of them. You also want to use a gun loadouts. You want to use a gun with no attachments or no extended mag. So let me just use this Kogat build. You want to use a gun without an extended mag. So you only want to shoot enough bullets to get the kill. You don't want to shoot more bullets than necessary. Also, you want to use movement for all of your kills. You want to put everything we worked on in this video together. But you also want to play a little bit flashy. You want to use movement to get your kills. And your aim is going to feel weird because you just put the aim assist back on. But you only want to shoot enough bullets to get the kill, which is about 5 or 6. Actually, it was 3 bullets. So 3 bullets. So right there, situations like that, you should be able to win if you aim fast enough. You gotta be able to aim and shoot all 3 of them. If it's multiple ones on your screen, you gotta be able to aim and shoot all of them. Yeah, my aim off. Alright, so I don't get it this time. I'm just gonna move on. I usually get it first try without dying, but I don't know what I'm doing today. And I want you to try to kill as many of them as you can before you reload. Like, oh my gosh, bro. I thought he died. I thought he died. Wow, this is intense, bro. Let me just reload. See, it's okay if you reload every once in a while, but you want to try to kill multiple ones without reloading. Also, see, there you go. We got our nuke, so then you can just back out once you get your nuke. This is actually the final one. I actually play a game of, I usually play Plunder, but they took Plunder out of the game, so we have to play casuals now. And the whole point of this drill is to help you get used to how many bullets you need to shoot. on Warzone, because I'm a Warzone player, so all my drills are for Warzone. Help you get used to how many bullets you need to shoot in order to get the kill on Warzone. Not only that, but it's low stakes, so you can practice whatever you want to practice. Not just socials. I don't know why I'm showing my rank. So in this gameplay, I'm gonna try to talk and play. So so I might not be paying that much attention to what's going on, but yeah.
Enemy soldier incoming.
So right now, I'm gonna try to use good centering. Again, that's the whole point of this. Trying to warm up. Good centering and good hip fire shots right there. Let's see if we can get a gun we can move faster with. Center right there. Make sure I can see down that hall. My shoulder. I don't want to just run out and get melted. Get SMG, so we got something we move fast with right here. Trying to center that area. I kind of messed it up a little bit. I'm talking, so it's tough for me to get everything down exactly. Check this corner, center in this corner. So no one's just sitting in there. If we come out, we center in as we come out. Make sure we don't get ambushed. Trying to get as much information as possible while we're hitting the spy station. Now we got the UAV, so it should be a lot easier to see what's going on. I'm gonna grab my loadout. These guys should be easy to kill. Got him. I don't know why I'm shooting at. Let me pay attention to my map. So I got a guy down right here. So I'm gonna push this guy right here. Last ping was in front of me somewhere. He could be on my right a little bit. Not on. I do see one person right here shooting. They might self-revive, but I'm gonna leave them alone. I saw someone land up here. So I'm gonna rotate. Trying to center.
Enemies are dropping into the area.
Here is someone to turn. So I'm a center. I have no idea what this guy is, so I'm gonna try to center and shoulder. Make sure I don't run into nobody and get caught off guard. Trying to center. Making sure I'm staying near cover as well. I'm a center for right here. So he could be right here. Constantly centering. Center for the stairwell. I didn't center down the hall. We got one right here. My aim in the direction. I had my aim centered so that I could thirst them. No, I didn't check down the hall. So we can check it down. I'm jumping. I'm centering for this corner right here. And you see. It's constantly centering. See people on this helipad. I know it's people on my left too. I think that was a player that's lighting me up right now. I gotta relocate. Yeah, that's a player.
Buddy, reported.
And I got accused of cheating while trying to show you guys.
Now it's my turn.
This guy moving a lot, ain't he?
Don't ever count me out.
Right there, I made sure I pulled down enough. My tracking was a little late.
Requesting close there. Target marked.
incoming. You're in the top 10. Keep knocking them down. We've got 10 squads active in the field.
Getting stitched up! I'm reloading!
You're losing ground. Moving.
This is gonna be tough killing them.
Enemies are dropping in.
Taking effective fire!
I think these might be both bots. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm about to let the bot kill me. All I gotta do is kill it.
Kill. Marking the rest of on your attack map. Get hunted. Marking the rest.
Just kill the bot.
Be advised, resurgence is no longer active. This is for keeps.
Loading! Ammo here!
People around. He got too close, so I just switched to Hipfire.
Napalm
If I
strike
did, I
ready
was
for
able to kill
delivery.
him.